Welcome to the new world headquarters of Rebuilding Better and my construction business. So this is originally Municipal Bathhouse number 6, built in 1937, designed by Albert Osberg, the city building commissioner at the time. And it's nice to actually know the architect for one of the buildings we're in for once. So just closed on the purchase yesterday. We're gonna take a look around here, see what we got. But about 4,000 square feet, Art Deco style, built in 1937 on the foundation of an 1870s firehouse. And I think we'll go inside, we'll talk about the history of it a little more. Alright, so as we come in the front door of bathhouse number 6, there was an entrance for males and females. I think this was the male side, so you would come up to the little window here and you could pay, I think it was originally 3 cents for a bar of soap and a towel, and by the time it closed in 1965, it was 5 cents. There's still some neighbors that actually bathed here in their youth, which is kind of cool. So this operated from 1937 to 1965, but the earliest bathhouses in St. Louis were opened in the early 1900s. This was the final of the 6 built, last to open, last to close, and it's the only building still remaining. Now, speaking of remains, most of the actual bath stuff is unfortunately long gone, but there are still some remnants, some slabs of marble there, and it almost looks like there was maybe toilets or something there. I'm not entirely sure. So this is kind of an intermediate space, and then I think the actual showers were back here. Again, unfortunately long gone, but still got the cool green glazed brick, clear story for venting the steam and all that. And this was most recently used for some storage by a metal fabricator across the alley. They're still in business, doing well. They do like retail and convention display type things. Kind of interesting. So I don't know if they put in the overhead door on the side or if that was existing, but that's nice for the storage access. We may be buying that old forklift. Always nice to have more fun toys. So the ceiling height in here, I think is around 20 feet or so. Pretty generous. Quite a bit of room. We'll be able to store things, have some workshop space, variety of different things. We are going to do some improvements as we go. The building itself, pretty darn solid, and honestly from 1937, one of the newest buildings in the neighborhood by a long shot. But this ceiling could use a repaint. Those windows could use a little bit of work, but as you can see by a couple that are open there, they do still operate. And then various areas could use some tuck pointing, and the roof could maybe use a refresh within a few years. We'll want to get some better lighting in here, and unfortunately at the moment the electric's actually turned off. That is on the to-do list. That happened quicker than I expected. So yeah, just, you know, if we're going to be in here a lot, we want it a little better. Don't need a ton of heating and cooling. You can see the current ceiling mounted gas furnace up there. I'm going to look how best to approach upgrades for that. And then to the other side, what I think was the female side, there has been a big opening cut through. I don't know if that's big enough to get our Bobcat through. I don't think it's wide enough. So we may be modifying that. I don't know, we'll see. Back here, there is a back door. And there is a basement under the back 20 feet or so. There's some big boilers down there. I think we'll take a tour of that at some point. I don't have the proper lighting for that today, so next time we're back here. And then this side, not quite as fancy with the glazed brick and everything over here. I would guess there was just the marble panels. Some remnants of those are still leaning against the wall there, but it could use some tuck pointing in some spots, as you can see there. And then back here, I'll walk around outside and you'll be able to see this better, but there's a big chimney in the back corner. Kind of cool. So this side, probably more oriented toward the storage. We'll get some shelves set up and get things labeled and organized. Organization in a space like this is always nice. And then you can see there's some ceiling issues. It's all repairable. I would guess some water got in there at some point, and who knows exactly what happened, but we can fix it. And paint and all that. And again, upgraded lighting. Although these windows, even though they're obscured a little bit, they do let in a decent amount of light, as you can see. So with mostly storage on that side, this will be a great spot to set up a small shop. We can get our trailer in here, trucks, skid steer, all that good stuff. And as we settle into the space, I'm sure we'll kind of move things around and figure things out. These barrels, as far as I know, are just empty, so they can just go out. And then there's this big metal shear that I'm almost a little scared of. I don't know what we're gonna do with that, or maybe just sell it to someone that can use it. But there's a nice welder. Hopefully that works. That'd be nice. I don't really know how to weld, but I know people that do. And then one of the remnants. Emergency eye wash. Hopefully we're never really doing anything where we are gonna need that. We'll get these fire extinguishers updated. They look like they were charged still, but they haven't been checked in a while. And then one little other tool left behind. Little roller there. I guess a seam roller or something. I don't know. That's not metal stuff is not my expertise at all. So again, little ceiling mounted furnace. I think we can probably do better than that, but if we needed it, certainly works in the meantime. And again, ceiling here could use a little bit of work. And then we'll make sure all these like exit signs and stuff work, because we'll have to get an occupancy permit. So here's the water service, which as far as I know does work. And then a little bathroom here. Again, it's got the nice marble, but I think we can probably improve this space. Some of the cool old lights. So we did scope the sewers. They're in great condition, all cast iron. They could maybe use a hydrojetting based on the video, but other than that, pretty good. And then this other side up front, so swung around from there. Somebody at some point painted over the glazed brick. Maybe they wanted to modernize it. I don't know. But as you can see, it's latex and it's peeling off. So I think we can clean that all up, get rid of this wall-to-wall carpet. The gas service comes in right here. Maybe if we go to heat pumps, we'll just eliminate that. That's kind of an awkward spot. I think they were going path of least resistance there. And then you can see there where it was flaking off. And then we can look up at the ceiling here. You can see some of the suspended ceiling tiles are damaged. There apparently were some leaks around the perimeter on the parapet wall. Those have been repaired to my knowledge, except there is one spot. We'll get up on the roof another day. There is some parapet damage up there that we'll have to rebuild, but that's all doable stuff. So yeah, you can wash your balls too. It's good to have clean balls. So yeah, regular old thermostat, and then another furnace in here for this front area. I think this front office kind of area would be well suited to mini splits. We're gonna probably put the ceiling height back up to the original. You can see where that was. It makes sense why they lowered it. Fix this up. This is, I don't know, this could be an interesting space, and it's got a furnace in it, so yeah, okay. But we can punch the time clock. It's always important. Get paid for your work. So yeah, that's the general tour. Windows could use some paint. Yeah, so, all around, plenty to fix up, but quite solid to work with here. So I'm excited to get things figured out and maybe delve into the history a little further. But this is the stuff I live for, cool historic buildings. So let's gather up some things, start getting things set up in here, and get the electric turned on, because it's all right now, but probably a little dark at night, and we can't get the overhead door open, at least with the opener. So I'm gonna go home and work on that. As far as the exterior is concerned, it's all masonry. Most of it's just common bred brick, except for the front where it's got that neat Art Deco terracotta. And then it also comes with 2 lots on either side. And these two combined have 100 front feet, so definitely a development opportunity down the line. And you can see here the access for that overhead door is off the alley, so that's really more convenient than off the street. And I was already mowing these lots for the previous owner, so just a continuation. So as you can see, the rear here, there's the electric service I need to get turned back on, and there is that chimney. Could use a little tuck pointing, and as far as I know, it is uncapped, so I'm gonna need to get a lift at some point, climb myself up there and do something. I don't know what, but something. And then this mini jungle could use a little bit of taming as well. This tree here, it's not great. It's only like this. Maybe take that down eventually. So you can see there the clear stories popping up. It's got a touchdown modified rubber roof on it currently, in decent condition, but looks like it's at least 10 years old. So I'll have to start planning for the longer term replacement on that. And then up here, pretty sure there was a building tied to it, especially based on the easements and stuff that still remain from the buildings that were on these lots. And then you can see these stakes, there, points on the line. There is a city-owned Land Reutilization Authority lot in between here, about 15 feet wide. It's a little narrow for building, and it would make more sense to combine with these, so I'm probably going to apply to purchase that, and that gets it back on the tax rolls as well, so that's good. So this, as soon as the weather cools down, start taming the bush honeysuckle overgrowth through here. So that's the exterior. Last stop on the tour is the roof, and I apologize, it's probably sounding windy. Bit of a windy day. One obvious problem up here, the front parapet, the backup is collapsing. So far it doesn't seem like it's an issue on the terracotta, but definitely something that needs to be fixed. And also this cracking along here, we want to get sealed up. Yeah, this is kind of loose. Don't want to lose any pieces. Yeah, that's the type of thing we want to get sealed up quickly. Okay, interesting. So this is actually the first time I've been on the upper part of the roof. Before I bought it, I checked it out, but I only brought one ladder, and you need 2 ladders to get up here. As you can see, that lower roof is pretty easily accessible off a ladder that's not too terribly tall, which I like. So this all, like everything, got a bit of deferred maintenance can use some paint for sure. The roof in general is serviceable for a time. I'm gonna get a quote on a new TPO roof with insulation, polyiso board. That's about the only way to insulate anything in here is externally, so that would be nice to have. And as we saw below, these are in working order, but this broke, and that was sort of the patch. They smeared some tar over it, so I think we can probably do better. If we can squeeze that in this year, that'd be nice. Not sure about that. This has all been wrapped here though, so as far as keeping water out, generally pretty good. The penetrations have all been sealed multiple times. You can see spots like that, so a little bit of work over time. And then you can see even better actually here. That chimney could definitely use some pointing. Again, probably not a this year project. And gonna need a lift, because that would be a hefty amount of scaffolding to set up. So I don't think it's going anywhere over the winter. Come springtime, we can worry about that. Yep, more painting. So yeah, overall, fair condition, I'd say. For as far as the roof goes, probably want to reseal all that stuff. Eventually, hopefully, we can abandon these penetrations if we can switch it over to mini splits or heat pumps or something. We'll see what HVAC recommends. I know I certainly have my thoughts, but this will be the big project. The question is it across the whole front? This is kind of loose membrane, and that doesn't seem great behind it. I'm gonna guess the whole thing is going to need to be rebuilt. Termination bar coming off a little bit there. So whether I do anything new roof-wise, and great opportunity for solar panels. Definitely need to fix this. I would guess easier to take out all the brick and just rebuild it with concrete block. Yeah, I mean, that seems to be holding some brick. So the good news, at this point at least, is the way it has all shifted out, it's watertight. Well, watertight, okay. It's shedding the water the correct way. So ultimately, that's what really matters. It's not... We've had plenty of rain that I've been able to check it out, and there's no signs of any water infiltration. Over here is where there were clearly some issues at some point. It seems sealed up okay for now. Yeah, like that's all degrading. Probably want to put a little something in there, but it'll get us through the winter certainly. And we can always, there's stuff you can paint over a torch down roof. So yeah, that's the fun conditions up here. Like they relatively recently went over some of this stuff down here. I've used Geico roof product in the past, and that seems like really good stuff. Not exactly super cheap, 4,000 square feet of roof here, but it's a good product. And the gutters and downspouts, as you can see from up here, are all in pretty good condition. That's a really important piece of the puzzle. So, all right, since we've come to the end of the tour, I think I'll climb my way back down. And since you're seeing this, I made it safely. First load of stuff, kind of randomly late at night, but we're gonna start setting up tomorrow. I don't know if we're gonna catch any of the lightning, but there's a storm to the northeast, little cell. Unfortunately, not gonna bring us any rain here. But let's take the night look at the place. So you can actually see in here, now that the electric's turned back on, it took 5 days, bizarrely. I don't know what was going on with that, but all's well that ends well, I suppose. But here, you can definitely tell there was supposed to be some more marble, and I'm very sure that these were toilet facilities in here, just the way that that looks. So that's neat to know. And then once these lights finally get going, they are bright, but you can probably hear the buzz. We're gonna replace these. The whole thing needs a lighting upgrade. Get some nice LED lighting in here after the paint and tuck pointing. So we'll probably work with these lights for a little while. It's not an immediate need, but tomorrow we're gonna start getting some things in here. Maybe get some shelves set up, figure out the organization a little bit, get rid of these barrels that were left behind. So we'll see how that goes. Well, out here for our first setup day, and I got the electric turned on, and somebody took out a utility pole this morning, so the electric is back out, but it's okay because the sun is shining. So got my brother Nick and friend William coming by to help things out, and I am pointing at the brick for a purpose. I have since learned that this is kind of a yellow-brown brick, not green. I am red-green colorblind, and it just looks like green glazed brick to me. So if I say it's green, just know that it looks green to me. Yeah, the things you don't know unless somebody tells you. Oh well. Okay, they'll be here soon, so we're gonna get things started. And they actually both have YouTube channels. Neither have published anything for a while. My brother in particular hasn't for like 12 years, but he's actually talking about doing it with some of his equipment operating work. So we'll see, but I'll link their channels in the description. You can check them out. And the temperature is great for the next week or so, but may open those up. Just leave them open for some nice ventilation. And while we're looking at the ceiling, I'll also mention I'm going to get solar panels priced. There's a little bit of time before the tax credit goes away, and the guy we're working with on the corner store project, he actually just got a good quote. They're going to install panels on those roofs there. So check things out, see if it makes sense. Then I can get rid of the gas service for heat and check out the prices on heat pumps. 4,000 square feet of roof here. I'll do something, but we'll see what it costs. I think it just doesn't have a battery, but they also talked about possible starter issues. I don't know. We're looking at potentially buying the forklift from the previous owner. She's a beaut. Extra custom counterweight. And it'll keep you warm in the winter. And before anybody complains, Nick has an actual forklift license, so we're good.
It doesn't hold up. Yeah, the battery's gone.
Huh. Well, that's your problem, I think.
Yep. Might have something to do with it.
Yeah. Can pull a battery from something else.
It's got a new alternator.
Oh. Well, that's half the battle. They said they keep it on a trickle charger over in the shop across the alley. So we'll probably have to get them over here. Well, I guess we're gonna get some stuff done here. Need to unload the trailer, but we're also gonna try pulling it in. We'll see how that all goes. I don't know if he's planning to hand transfer this, or he thinks he's actually going to don't mangle the door frame! You're mangling the door frame. Alright, well that was a good commercial door frame. I guess it's not anymore. I was just gonna hand unload this inside, but Mr. Expert Operator said we should do this. It's one of those games where you gotta fit things through an opening that doesn't fit. We're gonna have to disconnect the beeper. A little loud in there. Alright, here's where the forklift would be better. More maneuverable in smaller space. It'd be even nicer if that wall wasn't up the middle. Oh, that'll work for now. I'll have to sort through that later. Well, we're kind of figuring out how to get things in here, and a little bit of mix and match action, I think. We're gonna dropping it off and move it in with the Bobcat. Now we're gonna need to get a setup here with a ball on an attachment, make this a little easier, but it does work with the bucket. I don't know if that was intended. This will be the moment of truth. See how well it actually fits in here. Ah, my parents are here. Wheel? Not quite.
You got, I mean, you're almost touching the wall end.
Yeah, and we're about 2 inches off here.
But
Well,
if you put it at an angle.
yeah, and now we know. Okay. So, looking at what it would take to make this wider, currently 5 feet. So, bigger steel, but doable at some point. Make it easier for getting equipment through. Can get a longer trailer in here. Like many of the projects, nothing immediate. Well, we got these big racks. Got them out of one building. We had them set up in another place, then we had to move them. They've been taken apart for several years, but they're perfect for in here. And it's a start. We'll need a lot more shelving, but just trying to get a little bit of organization figured out. The funny thing is we don't have the shelving grates that actually... Hey, you guys need a little more weight on there? So we're just going to have to put boards and some plywood, but it'll work fine. So no necessary rhyme or reason why we're putting it right here. We just needed to start somewhere. Need a hammer? Okay. Got a little setup, as you can see. Didn't get quite as far as we were hoping, but just looking at the lighting a little more, you can see how really bad this side is, and I don't know if those are bad bulbs, bad ballasts. Well, there's some missing bulbs. This whole thing back here that they almost looks like they had a paint booth set up or something with the fluorescent tubes here. I don't know. I know we can do better than this. Not sure what that means. I've seen all sorts of different LED products for shops and garages and stuff, and gonna have to pick something. Do you have thoughts on that? Leave a comment with your recommendation and thoughts. I'm all ears. Happy to hear what you have to say. That is the tour and a little bit of getting things started, and by happy coincidence, this is our 100th long form video to publish on the channel. So that's pretty cool for it to be this. Yeah, so plenty to do in here still. Cleaning, repairing, maintaining, lighting, organizing. Maybe that's the most important thing, is organizing. That is the whole point of this, after all, is to get our stuff into one place and in a nice, orderly manner. It'll take a little while. It's all gonna get there. I have confidence. And it's gonna look nice doing it. So it is, like I said, really nice to finally be in here. I've been mowing the lots for years now, looking at the building, coming up with ideas, and well, it's finally happening. Next big idea is maybe figuring out that bathhouse themed Airbnb in a corner of the building or something. Who knows? I'm all ears for ideas. Have a question, an idea, a thought, a proposal, whatever, leave it in the comments. We are happy to hear things and maybe incorporate some things into the project. Who knows? Timeline wise, that's an open question. We'll see how that works out. We have to keep working on other projects to be able to pay for things, and that means we can't work here while we're working on those other projects. So a bit of a vicious cycle, but it'll all work out. It'll all come together. I have confidence. You know, if it takes a couple years, that's fine. Who knows what we'll be able to get done through this autumn and winter. Could be cold. Maybe it won't be. Maybe we won't be able to start big stuff till next spring. Maybe not. Could be doing stuff in January. Who knows? But even with that said, plenty of small stuff that we can keep working on. So of course we'll have videos with all that, but that also means the video publishing schedule could be a little sporadic out of here, but we'll still have plenty of the other content. It'll just work in as things happen. So with that said, I think that wraps things up. Again, bit of a celebration for the 100th long form video. That is quite an achievement for any channel to get to, and I'll be honest, I never thought I was gonna get there and actually have some dedicated viewership, which is pretty cool. We're happy to have you guys along. So if you're new here, we'd be thrilled if you hit that like and subscribe button to keep following along for great historic renovation content and other things. And again, thanks for rebuilding with us. Thanks for watching, and we will see you guys on the next video, both here at the bathhouse and at other projects all around.